Let's review new curriculum for general education. Part 3b, 50 actual LET questions with Rationale. This is JM Pedagogical Blog Review. Direction: you may get your note to answer and to record your score. There's a timer for each question. You are free to pause the video if the given time is limited for you. Do not hesitate to finish this video, for you are the next licensed professional teacher. Okay, let's get started. 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗄𝗆. El Grito de Pueblo was published during the American colonial period, not the Spanish colonial period. 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗄𝗆 founded the newspaper in 1900, which was a pro-labor and radical nationalist publication that advocated for independence under U.S. protection. B. Grasp pleasure while you can. This reflects the central message of the Rubaiyat. Seize the moment, enjoy wine, love, and beauty, because life is fleeting. D. Volatile memory. Volatile memory refers to computer memory that requires power to maintain the stored information. Once the power is turned off, the data is lost. C. Rising ocean level. Global warming leads to melting glacier and thermal expansion of seawater, causing sea levels to rise significantly. B. Epiphora. Epiphora, also called epistrophe, is a rhetorical device where the same word or phrase is repeated at the end of successive clauses or sentences. C. Dry ice evaporating. Sublimation is the process where a substance transitions directly from solid to gas without passing through the liquid phase. Dry ice, solid carbon dioxide, turns directly into carbon dioxide gas. D. Chocolate Hills. Although iconic and proposed for inclusion, the Chocolate Hills are not officially listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. B. Fishes are attracted to the light from the fishing boat. During the new moon, the absence of moonlight makes artificial light from fishing boats more effective in attracting fish, especially those drawn to illuminated areas. C. 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗀. 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗀 is the celebrated Filipino author of May Day Eve, a short story that explores themes of love, illusion, and generational conflict through magical realism and rich historical context. A. Helium-filled balloons rise in air. This is the most direct and observable evidence that helium is lighter than air. Helium-filled balloons float because helium has a lower density than the surrounding air. A. Malaysia, Bahasa. The closest Asian language to Filipino is Bahasa Malaysia, Malay, due to shared Austronesian roots, vocabulary similarities, and historical cultural ties. B. Italy. Italy, as of 2025, Italy holds the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, with a total of 61 recognized cultural and natural landmarks, with iconic sites like the Colosseum, Venice, and the Amalfi Coast. D. Full of distorted facts. If a reporter is accused in court, it's likely because the story contained false or misleading information that caused harm, hence, it was full of distorted facts. D. 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗄. B. Close to the equator. Towns near the equator experience nearly equal lengths of day and night throughout the year, including December, due to the Earth's tilt and the consistent angle of sunlight in equatorial regions. C. They are occupying danger areas. Republic Act No. 7279, Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992, Article 7, Section 28A, provides that eviction or demolition of underprivileged citizens may be allowed when they occupy danger areas such as estuaries, railroad tracks, garbage dumps, riverbanks, shorelines, and waterways, or areas where government infrastructure projects are about to be implemented. D. Style. In art, style refers to the distinctive way an artist portrays subject matter and expresses their vision. It encompasses choices in composition, color, line, and overall aesthetic approach. A. When the proportion of patients reach at least 15% of the population. Doctors and public health officials declare dengue fever an epidemic when cases exceed a critical threshold, often defined as 15% or more of the population in a given area showing symptoms or being diagnosed. A. Benvenuto Santos. The Scent of Apples is a celebrated collection of short stories written by Benvenuto Santos, with the title story exploring themes of Filipino identity, diaspora, and longing through the lens of an immigrant's experience in the United States. B. Interactive. Aurora is using the interactive model of reading, which involves a dynamic process of going back and forth between prior knowledge, top-down, and textual information, bottom-up, to construct meaning. D. Service cooperative. A service cooperative provides services to its members. In this case, operating taxis, tricycles, and buses falls under transportation services, which are offered directly to the public or to members. These cooperatives are common in transport sectors where drivers or operators pool resources to manage vehicles, routes, and income collectively. B. Conduction. Scorching of feet on hot beach sand is a classic example of conduction, where heat is transferred directly from the hot sand to your skin through physical contact. D. Security Council. The United Nations Security Council is primarily responsible for maintaining international peace and security. It has the authority to deploy peacekeeping missions, impose sanctions, and authorize military action to prevent or respond to conflicts. C. 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗃. The Woman Who Had Two Navels was written by 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗃, a Philippine national artist for literature. This landmark novel explores themes of identity, colonial influence, and psychological conflict, and is considered one of the most important works in Philippine literature. C. Income tax. Income tax is the tax imposed on all employed individuals and practicing professionals based on their earnings. It's a direct tax collected by the government to fund public services and infrastructure. A. Nepotism. Appointing one's own child, regardless of marital status or legitimacy to a government position, is a clear case of nepotism, which refers to favoring relatives in hiring or promotion, especially in public service. A. Ida. The Ida are widely recognized as the first indigenous people of the Philippines. They are believed to have arrived thousands of years ago, long before the Malays and Indonesians, and are considered descendants of the earliest human settlers in the archipelago. C. Reflection on the moral thing to do. The best foundation for ethical and moral behavior is personal reflection, thinking deeply about what is right, just, and responsible in a given situation. This internal process guides consistent moral choices beyond external influence. By Luality Bautista is set in the Quezon City jail, portraying it as a microcosm of Philippine society. The novel explores gender inequality, poverty, injustice, and redemption through the lives of incarcerated women, especially its protagonist, Angela, who is wrongfully imprisoned. C. Aguinaldo declared Philippine independence. Among the choices, the first event to happen was Emilio Aguinaldo's declaration of Philippine independence on June 12, 1898 in 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗃. Chronological order of events: Aguinaldo declared Philippine independence, June 12, 1898. The Philippines was ceded to the U.S. by the Treaty of Paris, December 10, 1898. Guerrilla warfare against the U.S. was initiated. 1899 onward, Aguinaldo was captured, March 23, 1901. C. General Romulo. The Philippines proudly recognizes General Carlos P. Romulo as the first Filipino and Asian to serve as President of the United Nations General Assembly, holding the position from 1949 to 1950. C. 𝗃𝗆𝗄𝗃𝗀. Known as the Sublime Paralytic, 𝗃𝗆𝗄𝗃𝗀 authored El Verdadero Decálogo, the True Decalogue, in 1898 to articulate the moral and political principles he believed should guide the Philippine Revolution and the formation of a just government. D. The majority failed to get the group support. When a proposed bill is rejected by Congress, it means that the majority of lawmakers did not support it, and the bill failed to pass through the legislative process. C. Parliamentary. During the Marcos regime, particularly after the 1973 Constitution and the establishment of the Batasang Pambansa, the Philippines adopted a parliamentary form of government, at least in structure. This system merged executive and legislative powers, with the Prime Minister, initially Marcos himself, being selected from the legislature. D. Food web. A food web illustrates the feeding connections among all life forms in an ecosystem. It shows how energy and nutrients flow through various organisms, from producers to consumers to decomposers. B. Right of way. The legal principle that allows a landlocked property owner to pass through a neighbor's land is a right of way, also known as an easement of right of way. This is a legal right granted to a property owner with no access to a public road to cross a neighboring property to gain that access. D. Literature. Literature is the artful organization of words to give pleasure, elevate thought, and transform the human experience. It includes poetry, fiction, drama, and essays, and serves as a powerful medium for expressing emotions, ideas, and cultural truths. B. Palay drying and storage. To address the issue of harvest wastage, the Department of Agriculture implemented palay drying and storage measures. These help preserve the quality of harvested palay, reduce post-harvest losses, and ensure more of the crop is used effectively. B. Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel is celebrated as the father of genetics for his groundbreaking experiments on pea plants in the mid-1800s. Through careful observation and statistical analysis, he formulated the laws of heredity, including the law of segregation and the law of independent assortment. D. 50 glasses. B. Retardation in speech. Among the choices, retardation in speech is not a direct physical effect of congenital rubella syndrome, CRS. While speech delays may occur secondary to hearing loss, they are not a primary or visible physical manifestation of the disease. C. Perfumes. Esters are organic compounds widely used in the manufacturing of perfumes due to their pleasant, fruity, and floral aromas. They are responsible for many natural scents found in fruits and flowers, making them ideal for fragrance production. B. Father Pedro Pelares. Father Pedro Pelares, a Spanish mestizo priest, was the first to lead the native secular clergy in the secularization movement in the Philippines around 1861. He championed the rights of Filipino secular priests to administer parishes, which were being dominated by Spanish friars. C. World Health Organization. The World Health Organization, WHO, is the international body responsible for coordinating global health efforts, including in the Philippines and other nations. It provides leadership on public health issues, sets international health standards, and supports countries in responding to health emergencies. D. Safety and security. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, health, resources, and employment fall under the category of safety and security needs. These are essential for maintaining physical well-being, financial stability, and protection from harm. C. Surface tension. A razor blade can float or sit on the surface of water due to surface tension, which is the cohesive force between water molecules that creates a skin-like layer at the surface. This layer resists external force and can support light objects. C. Microsporidia. Microsporidia are microscopic, spore-forming organisms that are now classified under the kingdom fungi. Though once thought to be protozoans, molecular studies have confirmed their fungal lineage. How many correct answers did you get in this review? You may share it on the comment box. I hope you got a passing score and you learn as well. Good luck let passers and top-notcher, claim it. Congratulations to the March 2025 Let Passer. Congratulations teachers on passing the board exams. Your hard work and dedication have paid off. This achievement is just the beginning of a bright future ahead. Wishing you continued success in all your endeavors. The next video will appear on screen. Click it to watch, or you may choose the playlist for more related videos.